Off Nation!
Let's go.
Welcome in to DNVR Buffs Primetime. We're presented by Illegal Pete's, everyone's go-to spot for burritos, buddies, and beers. Jake and RK coming to you on this Monday before the 4th. How you doing, man?
I am doing fantastic. Couldn't be better.
Love to hear it. We're coming off.
I got to spend a little time at Folsom this weekend, and that just that fuels the soul. Fuels the soul for me.
Looked like a hell of a time out there, man. There's a lot of people too.
Yeah, I think there'll probably be a record for attendance, at least in the new stadium, once it all comes out. Because I was looking at some of the previous concerts, and it looks like they got like a little over 60,000. But I've never seen like the lines to get in and just everything, and the floor was completely packed. All of the seats were completely packed. It was cool. Like for me, just being in a Folsom field is it just it hits different. Is the only way I can describe it.
Hell yeah, the vibes looked off the chart. We're coming off a heater. We had Cam on Friday. And actually, before we get into the whole show today, PFF posted a graphic, Ryan, another returning safeties graphic. Not so much returning, though. Cam finds himself at number 6 on this list with Roderick Ward here at number 8. So it's not even Shiloh, not even Trevor Woods. 2 guys transferred in the top 10 for Pac-12 safeties.
Yeah, and again, it's all about their grades. So they grade all of these guys. And obviously Cam, showed out in terms of the way that they grade it. Actually tied for 5th there, it looks like. Definitely not returning, but hey, we like seeing a couple of Buffs on the list, and it just shows the, incredible depth that they have at the safety position. I think if you just ask the casual fan who they think is going to be the starting safeties, they might not say either of these guys' names. And they both fall into the top 10 here in terms of the way they were graded last year. So that is going to be one hell of a battle. I'm hoping, still don't know how many fall camp practices we're going to get to watch, but if we were to get to watch all of them, that would be one of the position battles that I would be following the closest. And did you notice how Cam talked about playing with Trevor Woods?
Yes, he did.
In the defensive backfield. And I found that to be interesting. Do you agree there that, I think a lot of people would have those guys playing the same role in the defensive secondary? So he talked quite a bit about what it's like playing with Trevor. I feel like they might go, and this is something that the Broncos have done the last couple of years with Justin Simmons and Kareem Jackson. It's kind of like positionless safety play. Anyone can be a free or strong safety on any given play just based on the call and the alignment.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what we're going to see a ton. The rotation is going to be very deep. And, Cam hasn't played with Roderick Ward. He hasn't really played. He's played with Shiloh at JSU. He hasn't played with them here in Charles Kelly's system, though. So I think there's a lot we get to learn about this safety position, not just who's going to play, but the roles, as you mentioned. Just so many guys who kind of fit that hybrid linebacker / safety role, including Brendan Gant, who's a guy that literally has the slash or has earned that slash for linebacker / safety. It's going to be, there's a ton of guys, man. We'll see who emerges. It's going to be exciting for sure, though.
Yeah, Shiloh's going to be fun to watch. Vito's going to be fun to watch. Cam's going to be fun to watch. Rod Ward going to be fun to watch. It's crazy. Like, if this were the pros, you would be talking about trading some of them to get depth elsewhere. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, for sure. And then we didn't even say Miles Slusher. It's crazy. It's so deep.
It really
is.
All
right. On Friday, we had this banger quote, Ryan. So let's have some fun with it. Let's speculate. We probably could have gone like 15, 20 minutes on Friday just about this quote alone. So let's do it. Again, the quote, Brian Howell kind of dug it up. So this is from Athlon Sports, spring preview magazine. So this is actually before the spring game, before everything kind of took place. All these new guys came in. The quote, though, either he's going to be really good, really fast, and leave for another gig, which, looking at the roster, doesn't seem possible. The alternative is that they're going to be bad, and they'll end up firing him in a big circus. So, Ryan, who do you think said the quote?
Okay, so first of all, we have to dive a little deeper into this. Um, the quote itself is weird, and it doesn't say anonymous Pac-12 head coach, right?
Right.
So it could be anyone. That's where they get you with the anonymous quotes, is because
Hmm.
you can go broad with that. This could literally be a grad assistant at Cal, who has beef with Coach Prime, but you put anonymous Pac-12 coach, and everyone starts thinking of head coaches. It's much more fun to think about the head coaches, um, and who it could be. But then, did you see what Brian Howell said about this?
About it coming from Athlon?
Yeah, so it was in the Athlon preview, which means that the quote happened before the spring roster turnover. Why is this just coming out now?
Yes. It's on 3 digging stuff up on Coach Prime. I mean, are we surprised? We know what's happening.
Yeah, and it's a classic slow news day. Pull out, all the stops. How are we going to get some traffic today? Oh, let's talk about Coach Prime and bring up an old quote to generate some interest. That being said, the weirdest part to me was the way that On3 framed it when they said an anonymous Pac-12 coach on 2023. So it wasn't
Mhm.
even, at least the way that they're putting it, it wasn't even like, oh, like this is going to go one of two ways. Coach Prime's going to get it turned around, or they're going to end up having to fire him. It was this year. They think there's only 2 options after this year. In fact, this quote says, in both cases, Coach Prime is not at Colorado this year. He's either
Right.
so good that he left, or next year. He's either so good that he left or so bad that he got fired. The way that Coach Prime's contract is structured pretty much prevents that from happening from either side. Now, I say pretty much because it's a $15 million buyout if someone wanted to come get Coach Prime after this year. And could you imagine a world in which an SEC school, is desperate enough to say, we'll give Colorado their 15 million. We know what Coach Prime is worth, and it's worth a hell of a lot more than that. And they'd be right. And we'll also give him the $20 million a year contract or something crazy on top of all of that to pull him out of there. I wouldn't put that chance at 0. It's certainly unlikely that someone's going to be willing to pay that $15 million buyout. And I'll tell you what, it is 100% unlikely or not happening that Colorado would fire him after this year and have to pay out that gigantic contract. So this quote, especially if it was said in the way that On3 says it was said, in reference to 2023, is just completely and utterly off base.
The way I see it is, it was either this quote came from, again, it's a team. We don't know which coach it was, if it was a head coach or not. But it comes from a team that could be called somewhat hypocritical, because there's been a lot of teams who have utilized the transfer portal in the Pac-12, definitely to their advantage. Or it's a team that's basically barking up the wrong tree. Like, what is Wazoo or, I don't know, Oregon State or Stanford? What are they going to say about Coach Prime, and why would they have an opinion that strong? On the other hand, if this is USC, Arizona State, Cal even, I mean, these guys heavily utilize the transfer portal over the last few years. So you're being hypocritical, even if you don't think it's going to work, because you utilize the transfer portal pretty well and basically rebuilt your team through it as well.
Absolutely. For some reason, my gut feeling tells me that if it was a head coach, it came from one of the LA schools.
Mm.
So Lincoln Riley or Chip Kelly seems like the one who would have I don't know what the word is, just the audacity to kind of speak on this.
I will never know, I guess, but it's fun to think about which coaches actually have Colorado on their mind that much. They're on
Who's
everyone's
your
mind, it
prediction?
seems like. Um, I think I'd probably go. I've seen a lot of people say Jed Fish at Arizona, and I think that could be pretty fitting. But again, that's the hypocritical side. I don't see someone like Oregon really caring about this too much. But I could also see, someone like Utah and Kyle Whittingham type, who have been, doing it the traditional route, or maybe Oregon State with Jonathan Smith, the traditional way of just recruiting, getting your guys in, as opposed to using the portal. That's who I would hypothesize.
All right. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Another thing of big news that came out on Friday during the Cam show, San Diego State, they're staying in the Mountain West, Ryan. I mean, it's hilarious at this point. I don't even know what to say about the Pac-12 media deal. Again, no media deal news. We're still a few weeks away, they say. And now San Diego State's out of the picture. That was their number one realignment target. They're gone.
Yeah, this is bad. And there's a rumor out there that they saw the projected numbers and essentially said, well, with how much it's going to cost us to get out of the Mountain West, these numbers won't make up for that fast enough for this to be worth it. Which again, who knows? That is a rumor. But if that's true, it's such a bad look for the Pac-12. Like someone tagged us and said, "Is the Pac-12 on life support?" And I'm like, the Pac-12's been on life support. This is like pull the plug time at this point. Like, this is past life support.
It's pretty insane. And it's, again, another damning, I guess, sign for this Pac-12 media deal. You lose your top realignment target. Now you're literally looking at SMU, like Tulane. I don't even know. I mean, you could throw out almost any other Mountain West team out there, but we'll see. It's pretty discouraging, especially since the Big 12 signed that deal a few days ago. And just driving through Provo, Ryan, a few days ago, they're all in. It's Big 12 country already. So maybe I'm bringing the Big 12 back with me to Colorado.
Let's go. Bring it back. I think just about everyone's ready. I actually haven't heard a Colorado fan say they were anti going back to the Big 12 at this point.
No, neither have I. I think it's something that happens here pretty quickly. We do have. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the only thing I wish is that Nebraska was still there waiting for us.
I'm sure they got to find a way to revitalize that series anyway after this contract, right?
Yeah, but the schedules are built out so far that it's probably going to be like another 7-8 years at least before we get to see it again.
Right.
Well,
Yep.
You have this year and next year, so we'll cherish that while we have it.
All right. Some recruiting news. Amontre Bradford is a 2025 three-star athlete. He's out of Statesboro, Georgia. 2024, actually, sorry. 6'4", 230 pounds. He's a 247 Sports Composite three-star. He included CU in a top 8. Georgia Tech, Kentucky, Ole Miss, Vanderbilt, Virginia Tech, Indiana, and Mississippi State. So another 2024 guy on the radar there. We did get a commitment over the weekend, or I believe this may have been on Friday as well. And it's Gavin Layton, a JUCO tackle. He said he was at one of the camps. I don't know which one he was at. I'm assuming the JUCO/postgraduate camp. But he put out a tweet on the 30th. After an amazing camp a few weeks ago, I am blessed to have received my first D1 offer to CU Buffs football. With that being said, I'm extremely blessed to announce I will be 100% committed to the University of Colorado. Committed on the spot, man.
I love it. Offer and commit same day. That's how you love to do it. That takes out all the drama.
For sure. If only it were that easy for everyone. He lists himself in his Twitter bio at 6'6", 320. He is from Rochester Community and Technical College. I have no idea where that is, but he is now the 5th JUCO transfer. Every single JUCO transfer has been defensive lineman or offensive lineman. Is
it too obvious to say Rochester, New York?
Hey man, after the Northwestern State thing, I'm not I'm not putting any guarantees down.
What did you say the name of it is? Rochester
Community and Technical College, RCTC.
All right, I'm going to look this up, and I'm giving you 3 guesses, and I'll tell you from the start it's not Rochester, New York.
I told you, see? All right, I'm going to go with a random one. West Virginia.
Nope. If we were doing hot and cold, I would say pretty cold.
California?
Colder.
Wow. All right, I'm going to say like Massachusetts then.
Still no. Minnesota, Rochester, Minnesota.
Minnesota. Oh man, yeah, would have never guessed that. He had he was named the Minnesota College Athletic Conference Player of the Week. One game last year after he had 6 pancake blocks and a win. As I mentioned, this guy is absolutely massive. We'll
Offensive
maybe have
lineman
to get around.
offensive lineman getting player of the week is so sick.
Isn't that wild?
That never happens.
We'll probably have to get around to watching his film when we get back because it sounds like it's going to be just an absolute ball. We've got an interview coming up, but real quick, some news on the NCAA front. I told you they had that restraining order, the Brander group on the game. Well, a judge has said that basically does not stand. It doesn't have any really holding on this situation, I guess. A quote from, I guess this is the judge, Judge Haywood Gilliam. He said, "There's simply no evidence in the record that the value of the students' NILs will be diminished by their use in the game." Basically, he just ended it right there. So we're in the clear for now, Ryan.
Let's go. And, again, I've talked a lot about how, like, I'm on the player side when it comes to this, but hearing Cam talk about it was exactly what we kind of thought, which is just like, you're getting
Right.
paid a substantial amount of money. I guess it's not nothing to do nothing. All you have to do is say, yes, I'm willing to be in it, and you get the check. It's not like you have to do any work.
Right. So that's good news. Before we get to this interview, and I'm excited to see what you think of it, and I'm excited to see what everyone else thinks of it. We're going to talk a lot about Cormani McClain with Landlin May from PolkWay, but first a word from Shady Rays. It's beautiful out here in Utah. I'm sure it's beautiful out there in Denver. Make sure you can take on the sun with gear built to last with Shady Rays. Extremely clear polarized optics, durable frames. And right now they are running their Independence Day sale. Go to shadyrays.com and you can get up to 50% off single pairs of sunglasses. You can also go to their brand new location at the Park Meadows Mall. Shady Rays has your back. If you do not like your pair of sunglasses or they break even on day one, they will replace them, no questions asked. Again, go to shadyrays.com, cash in on that Independence Day sale. You have until tomorrow to try the shades, rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. And then shout out to Shador's number 2. What's the food situation been like for you over the weekend?
Oh man, it's been great. It's been great. I did use some Shador's number 2 on Friday. More barbecue chicken thighs, which were absolutely fantastic. And then, yeah, maybe even a little bit more with my lunch today because I'm having a little like pulled pork on a Hawaiian roll right after we're done here.
Hell yeah, man.
And then we're doing Chicago dogs tonight.
Nice. We're cooking up a brisket today, so we're going all in with it, man.
Oh, pour it on.
Yes, sir. Shador's goes great on absolutely everything. And you can get your hands on some at plbse.com. Use the code ALLCITY, all caps, all one word, at checkout, and you'll get 10% off your order. Shador's number 2. And then real quick, shout out to Breckenridge Brewery. It says right here, the beer of the month is still the Mountain Beach Sour, so that's what I'm going with. It's the best beer they have. We got it on tap at the DNVR bar. We got tons of others there as well. You can get yourself some Avalanche Amber Ale, Vanilla Porter Jr., all that good stuff. You can find out where Breckenridge Brewery beer is near you by using their beer locator. Go to www.breckbrew.com to find a Breck Brew near you.
Eric wanted to know why we are not at the bar. Taking advantage of the little holiday. So we have tomorrow off, and then we got the approval to do today remote. So I'm up in Steamboat with my family, and Jake's in Utah with his family.
Yep, having a good time. It's been nice to take a little break. Beautiful weather out here too. All right, let's get to this interview. I talked to Landlin May of PolkWay. He covered Cormani McClain all throughout high school. He's a coach himself. It's very interesting. I can't wait till you guys hear it and we get to talk about it after. So whenever you're ready, Yaya, go ahead and send it.
So we've got Landlin from PolkWay. Man, welcome into the show. We've been hearing a lot about what's been coming out of Florida in terms of players, of course, Cormani McClain. But let's talk some Coach Prime real quick. I know you've been kind of out there supporting, waving the flag. What was your impression when Colorado made the hire to bring in Deion Coach Prime Sanders?
Oh man, I honestly thought it was one of the greatest hires in college football history. And they might kill me for saying that, but um, obviously Coach Prime has that prowess about him to, instantly impact a program. We saw what he did at Jackson State. And I think it'll be no different at the Power 5 level. Guys everywhere want to play for him. So I definitely believe for a Colorado program who I think they went 3-9 before the 1-11 year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like it was a small job. This was a job that'll take some time. I think Coach Prime was the perfect hire for that position.
How has the perception of Coach Prime and CU kind of changed over the last, we're at 7 months now since he was hired. I mean, you mentioned it. CU was really down before. Now they're one of the most talked about programs in the country.
Exactly. It's relevance. Everything is relevance and exposure. If you talk about Colorado last October, it'll probably be an afterthought, a laugh. Now, if you speak about Colorado, it's a heavyweight instantly, just off of the fact of, it's a mega spotlight placed on anybody that has any sort of dealings with Colorado as a player, as a coach, or anything of that nature in the college football world. Coach Prime and Colorado have definitely, even if you look at YouTube, just search Colorado Buffaloes on YouTube. It's one of the most trending names or trending topics that are actually on YouTube currently. People are making complete livings on YouTube just off of talking about Colorado. They're not even fans. They're just, into football from different places. And Colorado and Coach Prime is literally carrying their content.
I know he's from Fort Myers. You're out there in Polk County. He went to Florida State. But what is the perception just of these recruits? What do they think of Colorado now when they see, a 303 area code coming across their phone?
It's a big one. I can't say it's Alabama or Georgia or Ohio State offer, but it's definitely, I would say, in that second tier of offers. When you talk about the Auburns, the Miamis, the big name Power 5 programs, we know everybody isn't going to be offered by Colorado. Coach Prime is bringing that Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State standard to Colorado. So, from what I've been hearing and seeing, Colorado is one of those right now, tier 2, looking to be tier 1 offers.
Cormani McClain was a massive get for this team. What was the effect of his commitment amongst recruits in the state? Obviously, Miami was where he was flipped from, so probably a bit tender there. But how did that all unfold out there in Florida?
Specifically Polk County, I know every kid in Polk County who wants to go to Colorado now. So he definitely opened up the pipeline here in Polk County specifically. But I know for a fact Colorado is making waves in the state of Florida and landing. And, Travis Hunter is actually a Florida native.
Yep.
So that's big with him being there. And then Cormani definitely, you see Winston Watkins is committed in the 25 class already. So Cormani definitely kind of opened a door or a portal to segue from Florida to Colorado.
You've seen Cormani play a few times, I'm assuming. How would you describe him as a player? What type of players see you getting in him?
Man, you're getting a dog, a leader. He doesn't care who you are. He's going to line up in front of you, and he's going to show you why he's the best. You said a couple times, man, I saw him play from a sophomore to senior at least 15 times at minimum, maybe more. And every game that I saw him in, he had an interception. So that kind of tells you what kind of, and I'm talking about, I traveled to watch Lake Gibson play he was at Lake Gibson before Lakeland. I traveled his junior year to watch him play in Georgia. He intercepted Miami quarterback Ja'Curry Brown on ESPN. So no matter where he's at, no matter who's in front of him, no matter the stage, he's going to be that guy. And, I have very, very, very strong faith that, he'll continue to be that guy and to continue to develop into that talent at Colorado under Coach Prime.
Coach Prime mentioned it during the spring game about him playing both ways. I think Cormani kind of said it himself in a Q&A he did on YouTube a few days ago. Does he have that two-way ability? Maybe not as Travis Hunter at that level, but is he able to play receiver, do you think?
So here's a cool story. I don't think I've ever told this story before publicly or online, but his sophomore year, when he was still at Lake Gibson. So they had Sam McCall, who's now at Texas A&M. He was playing receiver. They had a couple other receivers. They had Jalen Glover, who won Dairy Farmers Mr. Florida Football. He was at Utah. He was in their backfield. So Cormani's a sophomore, first time on varsity. They played Lakeland High School. and they lose by, I want to say, 1 point. I think the score was 24-23. After the game, Cormani hits me up. Man, I'm switching to defense. I'm tired of not getting the ball. I want the ball. I'm like, just stick it out. Just, relax. Just stick it out. It'll be okay. He goes on to break the interception record that year as a sophomore. So good thing he didn't take my advice. He turned into the #1 player in the country. But he definitely, if he would have stayed at the receiver position, he would have been a 3 or 4 star wide receiver. He's a phenomenal talent at on either side of the ball. Obviously at corner, he's one of the best ever, the best defensive back outside of Derwin James that I've seen with my own 2 eyes in high school football. But on the offensive side of the ball, he definitely can play at a high level. He would have been recruited by all the same schools had he kept playing receiver exclusively.
Do you think we could see him playing receiver as soon as this year?
Yes. I don't think he'll be, he won't run off the field at corner and then get right in at receiver, but I definitely believe they'll have packages for him.
Interesting, man. We're all here for it. What Coach Prime is doing with these two-way players, it's exciting. Obviously, Travis, what stands out to me when I watch Travis is his ball skills, just ability to play the ball on offense or defense. And I feel like Cormani has some of that too. Maybe if it's not at that level, it's kind of just being able to play the ball in the air. What else do you think actually makes him a special football player? He's got the wheels. He's almost got everything he needs. But what makes him a special football player?
Just his determination. Like I said, he started out playing wide receiver, so I don't know if that enhanced his game on the defensive side of the ball, but just he understands football. It's a play on his junior year film where he drops from the flats to deep thirds, catches the pick, and takes it to the house for a touchdown. So just it's simple things like that, like the ability to drop from the flats all the way into cover 3 that isn't his man, that isn't his zone, and be able to make that interception. The way he understands football and understands the cornerback position is next level. And it's been next level for the past 3 years.
Man, you're probably getting Buff fans really excited right now. This Florida pipeline, you already kind of mentioned. Are we really just seeing the beginning of this Florida pipeline, you think, for CU and Coach Prime?
Oh, definitely. If you look at all the guys who he landed in the portal this year, from Travis J to Marion Cooper to Xavier Weaver and Jimmy Horn, that kind of tells me that Coach Prime knows where he wants to, lay his roots and get his pipeline. And even from the city of Lakeland, not only do you have Cormani, but in the portal as well, you got Jordan Dominic and Brendan Gant. Dominic from Arizona and Brendan Gant from Florida State. So he knows the areas and the hotbeds in Florida that he wants to lock down. It looks like he has the Central Florida on lock right now. A lot of guys in the portal came from Central Florida, the Central Florida area. So I'm definitely excited. He got a couple guys from the Jacksonville area. He definitely knows where he wants to recruit.
That's awesome, man. We're excited to have all those guys coming out here, and we hope to see continued success from Coach Prime in that area. I saw you tweeted out the other day that Polk County's kind of down in terms of recruits. I don't think they have a single top 300 recruit right now. But who are some guys that you are looking for to maybe make a jump and maybe enter that top 300 once this season ends?
So for sure, Carlos Mitchell. He's a two-way guy at Lake Wells High School. He played for my 7-on-7 team, Raw 7-on-7, which is one of the nation's premier programs. We lost in the OT7 National Championship, and outside of Ellis Robinson, the #1 corner in the class, he was the best person on our defense, hands down. No passes caught on him, completely locked down guy. Last season, he had 20 total touchdowns. 4 came from defense, 4 came from returns, and then the other 12 were on offense at wide receiver. So he's definitely a two-way guy. Josh Porter actually has an offer from Colorado. He's a wide receiver at Fort Meade. He recently committed to USF, though. I believe he'll make a big jump. Nathan Gabriel, defensive lineman at Auburndale High School, big-time guy. I don't know why he isn't getting the major Power 5 looks, because he's definitely that guy. He has almost 30 offers, but only 5 or 6 are Power 5. He'll definitely make a big jump this spring. This fall. There's not many guys that can block him.
That's awesome, man. We'll be looking out for them and hoping to see them climb the rankings and maybe see them commit to being in the black and gold here in Boulder. Landlin, you've been awesome, man. Thank you so much for coming on. I want you to explain to the folks real quick, though, what you guys do at PolkWay and what you're all about and where we can find your content.
So you can find us on Instagram and Facebook at PolkWay863. That's PolkWay 863 on Instagram and Facebook. And then on Twitter, it is Polk_way. So POLK_WAY. And basically, we just try to provide a platform and a network for guys in our area. You know, guys that we do feel are under recruited, or even if it's the guys like Cormani McClain, who are those 5-star, number one in the nation type talents. We just want to provide a platform, you know, kind of teach them and, you know, help them through the process of recruiting and just navigating the new world with social media and athletics, kind of, you know, bringing culture to athletics and mixing it all together. And, you know, just being an outlet for our guys, basically helping guys get recruited, helping guys get free college.
That's awesome, man. We may be a few thousand miles away, but we're watching out here out west. We're specifically watching you guys or your kids out there in Florida and hoping to see a lot of them come through. Thanks again for coming on, Landlin. We'll have you back on again sometime soon to talk some recruiting.
Much love. Thank you guys for having me. This was definitely an exciting time for me, and let's go Boulder way.
Let's go.
What'd you think,
awesome.
Ryan?
Yeah, that was great, man. Great insight. Great kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Organization that they have over there, helping these guys get their name out there, and maybe helping them understand some of the recruiting process. You know, it's funny because I just think that if you're not close to it, you'll get the idea that recruiting is 100% merit based. And it's just not the case. And it's true of all things, right? Like getting into college is not 100% merit based. Whatever, you know, getting a job is not 100% merit based. There's so many other little things that go into this: who you know, what you know, the connections that you may or may not make. And it reminds me a little bit of what Matt McChesney's doing out here in Colorado. Obviously, he's directly tied to a gym, and he's helping train these kids directly when it comes to football. But he also knows all these coaches. He has contacts with every school, you know, in the country, damn near. So, getting involved with, you know, these types of organizations and just helping in the process can go a long way. Some guys wouldn't even know about these camps, you know, if it weren't for someone kind of showing them the way and saying, "Hey, you could you know, ball out on the high school football field, but if you don't get out to one of these camps where someone can see you in person, they might never know your name." So love that. And then going into what he had to say, I mean, the thing that stood out to me most was the comp between Cormani and Derwin James. That the best player he's seen with his own eyes out there in Florida since Derwin James. And so that is extremely, extremely exciting. We've had a lot of kind of conversations about if Cormani this, if Cormani that. And I think there are actually doubters out there who are saying, hey, you can't just think that Cormani's going to walk in and be that guy from day one. After hearing that, after hearing the way Cam talked about him when we talked to him, after talking to some other people up on campus, I think he might just walk right in and be him from day one.
And play both ways, too, it sounds like. Coach Prime said it, Cormani said it, now Landlin says it from PolkWay. It's exciting, man. The Buffs got another stud, it seems like. Just an absolute piece to build around, really. Yeah,
it's pretty special. He talked about Ellis Robinson, too. I was thinking, like, all right, that's a future buff. Charles Lester, you know, he's a future buff as well. But for real, that was awesome insight, and really appreciated having, you know, the boots on the ground in Florida on the show.
Yeah, man, they're definitely Team Coach Prime. They have been since the beginning, so I'm sure we'll have them back on. Before we get to questions, shout out to Backus and Shanker. They are here for Colorado families, and they've been doing so for more than 25 years. No upfront fees to speak with them about a case, no fees while they work on your case, and no fees unless they win your case and win money for you. They've won over $1 billion for their clients. They've got neighborhood offices in Denver, Aurora, Englewood, and Fort Collins. Help with all kinds of injury cases where you weren't at fault. Car accident, motorcycle, rideshare, pedestrian, trucks. They can even help if you're injured at work. Call them at 222-2222 to find out if you have a case for free. Backus and Shanker wins. And also shout out to Kind Love, one of the first dispensaries established in Colorado back in 2010, known for cultivating some of the highest quality cannabis in the state. And they have this crazy invention called the turbo joint. They've got pre-rolled turbo joints, and they've got turbo joint inserts made out of live resin that you can just put into any joint. It's not sticky or messy. It slips right in. You can visit one of their many stores, Cherry Creek or North Denver, and mention DNVR. You'll receive the DNVR exclusive discount of 25% off all Kind Love flower, pre-rolls, and their turbo joint line. Visit their website at kindlove.com for their full extensive menu and online ordering. Shout out to Kind Love.
Very much enjoyed some of their products at the Dead Company concert.
Let's go. I'd love to hear it.
I want to bring up a comment really quick, and I won't make Yaya look for it because I've already got it right here. If this is true from Nicholas Braxton, where he says, did anyone see the interview with Alton McCaskill last night? He said Demoy Kennedy is the third fastest player on the team. If that's true, he's going to be even more of a problem than I thought he was.
This defense, it may be a problem altogether.
And I honestly don't even care if it's true, to be honest. The fact that he even said it tells you that Demoy Kennedy can fly. And I mean absolutely fly. Because that, and like, again, it doesn't even have to be true, but he's comparing him to Jimmy Horn, Willie Gaines. Like, we're talking about burner wide receivers who are in this conversation of fastest players on the team. I love that Cam told us just hands down Dylan Edwards is number one. But that competition for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that is a really heated competition that I probably would have never even considered putting Demoy's name into. So if he's anywhere near the speed of those players, he is going to be a huge problem.
Can't wait, man. We've gotten a lot of great insight the last couple days on this show. It's been really fun to kind of pick the brains of these guys and just learn more about this team. I'm ready for questions if you are. If Yaya wants to throw something up. That's fine. We'll just go through them. Okay, Nicholas is asking, anyone read the Solomon article? Israel Solomon tweeted out yesterday. I got about halfway through it. An article, I can't remember which outlet it's from. If you go to my Twitter page, though, you can find it retweeted, but just kind of breaking down his background, why he chose Colorado. He transferred around a lot in high school, it sounds like. He joined IMG Academy as a senior and really kind of broke out there. And now he's going to be a Colorado Buffalo.
Hell yeah. His name's coming up a lot, man. Just in conversations, in social media, for everyone keeps talking about him. He might be a sleeper.
For sure. And then I actually have a written piece coming out on the walk-ons here very soon. And I'll have that. A lot of stuff on Israel Solomon coming out here shortly. Lawrence again asking if we have info on Jamaris Welder. I don't know. If you guys have been on Twitter today, I'm sure you've seen it. He put out a tweet just with Buff emojis, him wearing Buffs gear. He said, we coming. I don't know if this is a commitment, what it is. But then Charles Lester III quote tweeted it with a Buffalo emoji of his own. So
I don't know if that's a commitment. I feel like I don't think it is. But I'll take the Charles Lester quote tweet with the Buffalo emoji over everything there.
There you go. Always some good news. Then Mac Mill, did y'all see the video when Travis was fishing? He just randomly picked up a small gator and put it back in the water. I haven't seen that specifically, but Travis out there when he's on the boat fishing, that guy is just so in his element. He's hilarious every time.
Yeah. I mean, built different. I don't know what else to say. He's just built different.
For sure.
I actually saw this. I follow this guy on TikTok who just like goes around the Florida Keys and just like does crazy. Like he has literally no fear of anything, and he's just like playing with snakes and shit and That's what I think of when I think of Travis just grabbing a gator.
That's the type of stuff my brother watches on YouTube, and it's just like, wow, these people are kind of crazy. But I could see Travis kind of just, oh, let's just see what happens and try and get this crab out of this rock or something that he's got going on out there.
Exactly.
All right. I think that's it. You already said it, but we're off tomorrow. What are you doing for the 4th, man?
Ooh, gonna test out my pickleball skills. I'm going to probably go hang by the lake, and then we have a family Olympics that we do. Allie and I are the defending champs, so
Let's go.
our trophy will not be taken out of our hands. I'll tell you that right now.
Love to hear it. I'll be hanging out here. I'll be driving back late tomorrow so that we can do the show on Wednesday. Keep an eye on the site. I'll have something coming out later today. But yeah, man, see you guys on Wednesday. Go Buffs.
Let's go Buffs.